Hi everybody. So I promised you I would give you another lesson about the SRE and post it to Aspen. So here's your lesson. First, I want to review with you what your assignment is. You are going to take one of the stories that we've read this year and show either which story shows that things aren't always as they seem, or which story shows that who you were yesterday is not as important as who you'll be tomorrow. So you choose which one of these you want to write about and which story you want to use to prove your point. That being said, you are going to have to write a thesis statement. Today in class, we looked at thesis statements and we talked about how in order to create a thesis statement, you need to identify what you're being asked and then answer that question in one sentence. You should also borrow words from the prompt or from the question and avoid using I. So for example, with this one that we did today, do you agree or disagree with this decision? Instead of saying, I agree with this decision, I'm more specific than that and say all students should have to participate in at least one extracurricular activity. The highlighted words are words that I pulled directly from the prompt. So when you are taking your literary analysis essay and trying to craft a thesis statement, it is the same process. In a way, it's easier because I've given you the question. You don't have to find the question. So if you look at option 1, which story shows that things aren't always what they seem? Well, all I would have to do is say this story, and you fill in your title. So, the landlady. Oops, yeah, I was going to put quotes around your title. Okay, the landlady shows that things aren't always as they seem. Or the message shows that things are not always as they seem. A retrieved information show. You see how it works for whatever story you're doing. The same is true for option 2. So for option 2, you start by stating the title of your story shows who you were yesterday, etc. You would finish that quote. Okay? So you could put your title here. Remember to capitalize the title of a story and to put quotations around it. And then you just borrow the words directly from the prompt and turn it into a sentence. This is your thesis statement. Okay? Fill in the blanks. That's your thesis. Now, the lesson that I wanted to share with you today is about the SRE. So the SRE is a way for you to plan body paragraphs. And the way it works is like this. You have your paper, you draw a giant on it, and your thesis goes here. And over here, you put your reasons, and over here you put your evidence. So this is the SRE, statement, reasons, and evidence. Now, a couple tips for you. Your reasons, to get your reasons, you ask why or how. You ask this about whatever your thesis statement is. Your reasons are going to be your words, not a quote from the text. You will have 2 reasons. Evidence will be quote or example from the text. So it directly supports your reason. So it shows or supports the reason. You need to have at least 2 pieces of evidence for each reason. So all total, you will have 2 reasons and 4 pieces of evidence. Okay, so how does this work? Well, let's take a story that you probably all know. Let's talk about the story of Cinderella. So I chose Cinderella because I feel like it works with our quote, things aren't always what they seem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my SRE, my giant T, across the page. My thesis statement is going to be Cinderella shows that things are always what they seem. Period. This is my thesis statement. Cinderella is a movie or a book, or well, I guess it could be a story, but I'm going to underline it because I'm going to be talking about the movie. You are going to put quotation marks around the titles of your short stories. So now what I'm going to do, that's my thesis, I need to ask myself why or how. How does Cinderella show that things aren't always as they seem? Well, one reason is the way her stepmother acts at the ball. So, for example, now I'm making this quote up. You do not make up your quotes, but just to show you how to do this, at the ball, she says, quote, "We are your loyal subjects." And when you give a quote, you want to include the page number. Another example of the way how the stepmother acts at the ball shows that things aren't always as they seem is that she lies to him about Cinderella. So at the ball, she acts like these are all the daughters I have. There's nobody else at home. But really, she's lying. Things are not as they seem. So that this will become body paragraph 1. But I need another one. So I'm going to ask myself, what's another way that Cinderella shows things aren't always as they seem? And I'm going to say that Cinderella has nothing to offer the prince. That's how it seems. But the fairy godmother, well, I need to prove that. So she dresses in rags. She's like a maid, shut away in an attic. Definitely not suited for a Disney prince. So then, fairy godmother changes her. Or you could say brings out who she really is. And prince falls in love. So if she had nothing to offer the prince, then he would not fall in love. This becomes body paragraph. I have 3 pieces of evidence here and 2 here. That's okay, but you really need to be similar. So if you have 3 here, you don't want to have 8 up here, but it's going to make your paragraphs very uneven. So I hope you understand now how to make your SRE, what questions to ask yourself in order to come up with an SRE that will plan your 2 body paragraphs.